All right, blue collar drush. So that is me, Mike Ganello, at ultimike on Drupal.org and Twitter and wherever else I happen to be. If you haven't already, check out our podcast. We've been doing it for 2 years, 60-something episodes. Talked to a lot of different people in the Drupal community. Sometimes it's a lot of fun. So check it out. All right, so what is Drush? How many people here use Drush on a regular basis? Okay. How many people have never used Drush before? All right, so in a sentence, and I'm pretty sure I stole this off the Drupal.org project page, Drush is basically a command line scripting interface for Drupal. So it lets you do things very, very quickly from the command line. And most people, well, here, before I get there, because I'm already jumping ahead, I have nothing to do with writing Drush. These guys get all the credit. I'm purely a user. I may have, added something to the issue queue here and there, but these are the guys who actually wrote it, and I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. I have nothing to do with the writing of Drush. I would have loved to, but I think it's above my pay grade a little bit. So how many people have Drush installed? Probably the same people use it every day. So it's about 2/3 of the people in the room. Version 4, how many people are using the dev version of 5?
Windows.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, if you're using Windows, you want to be using 5 because it's night and day. 5 is pretty stable. I've been using it for a while. I don't think there's really going to be any difference as far as this talk goes if you're using 4 or 5. I would recommend 5, but that's just me. So what do most people use Drush to do? And this is one of those things that, for me, I've been using Drush for a while. And for a while, I've been using the same 5 or 6 commands. I download modules. I enable modules. I disable modules. I occasionally update modules. I clear the cache, and I run cron. And I think for most of the people that I talk to that use Drush but aren't power users, this is about 95% of what people do. And for these things, it's awesome. I mean, to do, if you need to install views on a site, what do you normally have to do? www.drupal.org/project/views, download, double-click it to extract it, put it in the right place. Go to admin build modules or admin modules, depending on your version of Drupal, find views, click enable, click submit, and then you're done. Well, with Drush, you go to your command line, drush dl views, FTPs it down, extracts it, puts it in the right place. It's magic. And then the next, 12 seconds later, you can Drush enable views, and boom, it's enabled on your site. So right there, that saved you probably 2 minutes of time. Add that up for as many times as you download modules, and you probably save yourself, a considerable amount of time. And not just time, but just the monotony of, doing that same thing over and over and over again. But in reality, there's a crap load of Drush commands out there. I believe I counted over 60 in core, in Drush core, and that's what you get when you download Drush and install it. But little known fact, contributed modules can add their own Drush commands. Features. How many people use features? Anybody use features with Drush? So what's the greatest Drush command there is?
Drush.
No, Drush FU. Yeah, feature update.
FU all.
Yeah, FU all. So, but that's a Drush command that's not in Drush core. But if you go into the features module, there's a features.drush.inc file that has its own custom Drush commands defined. Backup and migrate is another module that has custom commands. Or you can create a backup using backup and migrate module from Drush. Really easy, really fast. And there's a bunch of others. Views data export is one that I've used as well. And the cool thing is they're not that hard to write. And custom modules, you can define your own Drush commands in custom modules for your site. Not really going to talk about that today, but that's something that can be really handy. So a lot of people see Drush as, wow, that's really cool, but what am I going to do with it? other than download files. So a lot of times it can be seen as a solution in search of the problem. Other than saving me some time here or there, what's it really doing for me? So, a couple months ago, I figured out, well, you know what, here's something that Drush can really help me with. So let's figure out how to do this. And it turns out it solves, what I'm going to show you today solves, a pretty interesting problem. So today I'm going to talk about one thing that Drush can do. And the one thing I'm going to talk about kind of touches a lot of different parts of Drush. But by, 1:50 or 2 o'clock, depending on how slow or much I talk, we'll all be able to walk out of here and do something really cool with Drush. And that really cool thing is sync our local, dev, stage, production, however many instances of their site that are out there. And I'm not talking about configuration management. Configuration management is, if you set up, here's an example I'm doing right now. My client, I'm setting up a workflow for the client on a dev server, a shared dev server. I'm kind of iterating with them and figuring out the right way to do it. When that's all said and done, all that configuration needs to be moved to stage, not to test, and then eventually to production. Well, I'm not going to use this method to do that. I'm going to use some other method. So configuration management is just the act of moving settings from one server to another. Then there's a whole initiative for Drupal 8 to do that, configuration management. So this is not about that. This is about syncing your site. So in your site, you have code, obviously. We have the database, and we have the files directory. So wouldn't it be great if every time you you started working on your local development environment, you could sync that with your production site or your staging site, your dev site? We already do that with code, right? If you use Git or SVN or Shutter, CVS, we already do that. Hopefully you already do that. You sit down to work for the day on a particular site, and you'll do a Git pull or you do an SVN up. And then at that point, your local site will be in sync with stage production. So the code part's already solved for us. We're not going to worry about that with Drush. But what we can do is we can sync the database and the files directory just as easily using Drush. Just like with Git, we can sync code with one line. Well, we can sync databases and files with one line as well. And that's something that's really, really handy. So you have to be careful though, because with great power comes great responsibility. You can mess things up with Drush. As soon as you have access to the command line, there are commands in Drush that you can kill your site very easily. So, back up everything. If you're going to take what we talked about today and you're going to start implementing it, do it on a test site with a test dev server and make sure everything's backed up. Because I'll show you later, if you sync something in the wrong direction, you don't want to put your local database on your production site. You need to make sure things go in the right direction. And I'm going to show you how to make sure they go in the right direction. I'm also going to show you how to protect yourself from late night or really tired mistakes. So that's the official warning. Everybody with me so far? We have a goal, we have a plan. So, number one thing we have to figure out is if we're going to be moving things between two machines, between two sites, we have to be able to address those sites from Drush. Because normally what do? You open up a command line, you navigate to cd/site/myawesomesite, and once you're in there, then you can go Drush DL views or Drush cron or whatever. But if you're on the command line and you want to talk to that machine, in Dallas, how do you do that? Normally what you do, you SSH in and you do it there. But what we're going to talk about here is we're going to do it all from local. You're going to be SSHing, but you're not going to know that you are. We can do that. And I should have put this slide up a second ago. But so here's a somewhat common set of sites. All right, so you have a local development site. This is your laptop, your local machine. This is where you're doing your work. You might have a shared development site. Maybe it's you and two other developers working on a site together. And as you make changes, you put them up there so you can integrate them, you can all see each other's work. And then maybe when you guys are happy with it, you push those changes to a staging center. And that's kind of the client's area to go and test things out and give you feedback. Then once everybody's happy, you push those changes to your live center. So what we need to do is we need to be able to figure out a way to address and to talk to each of those servers. And we do that with this thing called Drush aliases. And this is part of Drush core. It's been in there for a while. And this is really the point of the whole session, is understanding Drush aliases and showing you how ridiculously easy they are to set up and use. And then once you do, I guarantee you will not go back. It's like the first time you use Drush. Once you start downloading modules via Drush, it's hard to go and click, download. Hopefully this gave me the same, kind of improvement in my workflow. So what are we going to do? We're going to create these aliases. So the alias, and there's a couple different ways to do it. I'm going to show you how to make these group aliases. So together, all of these sites are my site. So say you're working on UPS site, or Cartoon Network, Home Depot. These are all the companies, right? So you would have UPS, and then we're going to define the local part. So that we'll be able to eventually, from our local command line, go drush at mysite.stage, cc all. What will that do? That will clear the cache on the staging server without having to explicitly SSH into it. And then later on, when we're going to start syncing databases, we can use these aliases to say basically sync production database to my local database. But first, we have to create some aliases. So like I said, there's several places to store aliases. I'm going to talk about the one that I use the most. But there's a great document that actually comes with Drush. It's in the examples directory. It's called example.aliases.drushrc.php. And I'm not even sure if there's actually any code in there. I think it's just one giant comment that just talks about aliases and the different places you can store them. So just keep in mind, I'm going to show you one way to do this. But it's not the only way. And I'm going to show you a way to do it with groups. So you can create a different file. And it's basically what we call mysite.aliases.drushrc.php. A different file for each set of aliases. So if you work on 4 different projects, and each project has dev stage production, and you'll have 4 of these files. It's just a good way, and you don't have to do that. You can put everything in one giant file. But I'm anal, and I like things very organized, so I'm going to show you this way. Okay. So what happens is, and I think I'm going to talk about this in the next one anyway. I'm not sure what I was going to say with this bullet point here, but my site is the group. Oh yeah, that's what it is. So my site is the group. So like I said, it's my site.aliases.drushrc.php, and local is actually the alias that's inside that group. All right, so let's start getting into a little bit of code. There's just going to be a little bit of code for this session. So like I said, we're going to define our aliases in this file. So anybody can create this file. Open up Notepad, open up Text Wrangler, whatever you guys use for your text editor, and create an empty file. And call it, your group name, my site.aliases.drushrc.php. Step 1, very easy, right? Put it in your .drush directory. Now, not everyone's going to have one of these right off the bat. If you come from a Unix background or any type of, star Unix background, these dot files or dot directories that live inside, this is a symbol for your home directory. So on a Mac, and I use a Mac, so that's all I can really speak to. And in Mac, how you have it's your name, your username directory. Well, inside there, you want to create this .drush directory. As soon as you create it, it's going to be invisible, because that's what dot directories are, they're invisible. If you don't have a .drush directory, you can go ahead and create one. And then stick this file. That makes sense? I can show you this later if we have time. I'm planning on it. Yeah, so for this presentation, we're going to assume, and all the rest of the slides, basically, instead of this group name, it's just going to be my site. So we're going to have a file called my site, alias.drush.php. So create an empty file, put it in that directory, and like I said, there's other places you can put it. If you go into that example file inside your Drush download, it'll show you different other places, but this is where I like to put it. And the reason I like this one, just so you know, is because this file, when you upgrade Drush, this directory doesn't get touched. So you can upgrade Drush as many times as you want, and your aliases will still be there. All right, so let's define our first local alias. And this is the whole thing. So we're going to do our local alias is we're going to create an alias for our actual machine, the one sitting on your lap or in front of you. And it's a PHP array. So anybody who does any module development, you've seen this a lot. I'll put these slides online. So you can take pictures if you want. But it's quite simple. You just define a new array called aliases. Its key is the alias. So remember, this is in the my site.aliases.drush.php. So we are now creating the @mysite.local alias. And it's just an array with a bunch of items in it. Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to give it the URL. So what URL do you type into your browser in order to visit your local site? It might be localhost/mysite. I set up everything so it's not dev. It looks cleaner that way. But whenever you type into your browser to get to your local site, that's what goes here. Minus HTTP. What is the absolute path to the site on your computer? That's the root. So if you're on Mac, it'd be users, Michael, sites, my site. No trailing slash. And really, those two things are all you really need to define an alias. These two things down here are just helpful, and they're going to be helpful for what we do later on. But all these are just a couple of quick little variables. We need to define this dump directory because when we do a SQL sync or when we do a SQL dump, which is basically exporting a database, it has to put that file somewhere. So this basically just helps Drush know where to put that file. So by default, we're just saying, if you do a SQL sync, whatever file you generate, put it in, since this is local, I don't mind putting it actually inside the site. Site's default file is backup. If this is a production site, obviously you don't want to put it there because then someone can navigate and download a copy of the database. But locally, it's not that big of a deal. If it's a production site, you usually want to make sure that this path is above your site. So somewhere over here. And then the files directory. This is just a variable that tells Drush where your files directory lives. So again, it's my site/sites and all files, and that could be somewhere else. And you'll see in a few minutes where that comes in handy. That make sense? Am I talking too fast? Too loud? I get that sometimes. All right, so now what we can do is we can test it. And this is a trivial test. This is like the hello world of Drush aliases. Drush @mysitelocal.status. And that should return the same thing as Drush status. Assuming that you're sitting in your sites directory somewhere. If this is working, you know a couple things. You know that, number one, you've created your group alias file correctly and put it in the right place. And number two, you know that the structure of your array is correct. So those are kind of sanity checks. I'm going to do a quick rabbit hole because everyone who I've shown how to do this runs into this. If you're using a Mac and you're using MAMP, you run into this exact same problem. So feel free to just tune out and if you're not using a Mac or MAMP. But I want to put this in here because everyone has this problem. When you do a Drush status, sometimes you get unable to connect to DB. You get some sort of socket error. There's a solution. It's very easy. Just got to create a symlink. I wanted to put this in here because I know that someone's going to hit this. But I'll put the slides up. So moving on.
That's helpful in XAMPP too, actually.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a similar, and you also want to have the path to the PHP. specified.
Okay.
For when you execute.
All right, you do me a favor, when I put these slides up, can you put a comment for me? I appreciate that. Okay, thank you. Yep. Oh, sorry, let's see. And I know for some people this is completely unrelated, but it's just one of those things that if I was sitting in your seat and I tried to leave and tried to do all this stuff and I got this error, I'd be like, oh, well, that guy sucks. So I'm trying to avoid, that suckage as much as possible. All right, you good? Okay. Okay. Actually, no, I'm gonna give you a shirt because you're gonna do something for me. It's prepayment. What size are you?
XL.
XL, perfect. I know I mentioned last night, but is it Kent? Sure.
Sure.
XL, large? All right, so now let's set up a couple more aliases. Actually, we're going to show you how to set up one more, and the rest are just pretty much the same. For your remote machines, so we've done the easy one. We've done the one that you're actually, touching. So that's, anybody can do that. The remote machines, it goes in the same file, just goes a little bit further down. And if we hide these three, it's the exact same thing. Here's our alias. So now it's going to be @mysite.dev. What do you type into your browser in order to hit that site? In this case, maybe it's dev.mysite.com. But yeah, what's the absolute root on that server for that site? Well, this is probably a Linux server. I guess I just this example from the home user sites dev.mysite.com/html, whatever it is. You can do that. You can SSH into where you normally SSH into. Go to the site, do pwd and print working directory, and it'll give you that URL or that root. I'm sorry, this path.
Is all of this in the example?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Very well documented.
So it is. It's yeah. So I'm going to skip these three just for a second and just point out the dump directory is the same type of thing. This one you can see is, so the root is actually in the HTML directory, but I'm very careful here because I don't want databases to be dumped inside of here. So as you can see, it's mysite.com/backups, and this is, you cannot access this from the web. Okay, so this is kind of the opposite of what the local is. So there's a separate backups directory. And then where's the files directory? So these three things, right here, remote host, remote user, SSH options, this just tells Drush, how do you get to this site? This is obviously showing an example of SSH, but I'm assuming that most people, when they access these remote servers, are using SSH, because you should be using SSH. It's secure, that's the whole S part. So you put the remote host in, and a lot of times it's going to be the same as your URI. Sometimes it might be an IP address. You never know. What's your username to access that server? And I like to do it this way, where it forces you to type in a password, even when you Drush. And that's kind of, for me, that's a sanity check. That way, if I'm in a rush, I'm doing something, and it asks me for a password, it kind of reminds me, oh, okay, you're doing something remotely. If you go into the example file, there are ways to, if you have a SSH key set up, you can automatically get in without that password stuff. But for me, I'm the type of guy, when I use Git, every other command is git status. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm git status all the time. It's just another one of those sanity checks for me. But once you define these three things, Drush knows how to connect to your remote server. You're basically telling Drush, here's the keys to the kingdom. Almost. Everything but the password. So now Drush can do your bidding for you. So from your local command line, you can go drush at mysite.dev.status. So what's that going to do? That's basically the same thing as, well, let's SSH in. Let's navigate to the right directory, and let's do drush status. It's very clean, very fast. So at this point, you can now, from your local command line, you can now talk to any of your machines. Very easily, very quickly. Now just think about how nice this can be if you know that there's an issue on production or something like that. Or you get a phone call, and you know it's like, oh, I forgot to clear the cache. I just uploaded something, I need to clear the cache. Rather than having to go to that site, log in, go to admin settings performance, click the button, just to fire up a command line and go drush at mysite.prod at mysite.prod cc all. I mean, in literally 5 seconds, it's done. Good question.
I'm assuming that you have to have Drush installed on the remote boxes.
Yeah, I have, actually, that's my note right here that I'm not paying attention to. Actually, no, where's that note? Yeah, it's on, right here. Drush must be installed on all your, see, this is what happens when I don't like to stand behind a podium, and so I always miss all my notes. Yeah, it has to be installed on all the servers. Okay. All right, so what does that get us? Well, I think everyone knows where I'm going with this at this point. Now we have the ability to run drush commands between any of our servers. So, and that's awesome. I mean, yeah, wow. So now I know before I said one line, just like you can do SVN up and sync your code. Well, databases, you can do it in one line. You can do it with this one line. But I would never do it without doing this first, because this is just me. Again, I'm anal. I like to have backups, because backups are cheap. So, whenever I do a SQL sync, which is a core drush command, before I do that, I do a SQL dump of the target computer. So let's say I want to copy the production database down to my machine right here. Well, let's say first thing in the morning, I'm not thinking, I forgot about that configuration stuff I did last night, and it's still on my local machine. So if I just copy that production database down here, I'm going to overwrite all that stuff. But at this point, I haven't had any tea or anything. I haven't thought about that. But luckily, I'm anal enough where I am going to do my drush SQL dump first. And this is just like going to backup and migrate and hitting backup. It's the exact same thing. Just, if you ever use MySQL command line, you know about SQL dump. And all it does is it just exports a copy of your database into a flat file and sticks it somewhere. And that's all this does. And you can specify result file just to name the file whatever you want. But after you back up your local, then you're just going to do a drush SQL sync. I'm not really going to get into sanitize that much, but sanitize is awesome. What that lets you do is, as you're actually doing that sync, you can scramble passwords, you can scramble email addresses, you can sanitize that database of data. And that's really handy because, if you're downloading a production database that has 50,000 users and bring it down to your local, and you start doing something that might be sending emails out, well, suddenly you're sending emails from your local machine, and, what's that for? You don't need to be doing that. And even from a security standpoint, if you want to give a new developer access to, your development environment, do you really want to give them 50,000 email addresses of your users? Probably not. So you can use the sanitize command to do different things, to scramble email addresses, scramble passwords. You can even do things like, and this, I might be getting confused here because this might be a custom one. I think it's in Drush core though, where you can set everyone's password to the same thing. So where's that happen? That's it. When you're on your development environment, the ability to log in as anybody, and test, that's awesome. So sanitize is really cool, but that could be a whole other hour, so we don't have time. All right, so first thing we're going to do is, the example we're going to do is, I believe I'm going to copy production down from the production server to the dev server. So first thing we're going to do, from our local command line, we're going to say drush, our dev site, we're going to back up the database to a file called db.map. So that's the same thing as logging into the dev site admin settings, backup and migrate, quick backup, or manual backup, either download or to the manual backups directory. Does the same thing. And where does it go? Well, it goes to the dump directory. Remember that? And when we set that up, that's where it's going to end up. So that's handy. So now, it's magic time. Here's the one line I promised, like way earlier. And this is the, so we can Drush, sync production database with the dev database. So you can see it's, source to destination. So we can go production to dev, we can go production stage, production to local, dev to production. So you guys are supposed to catch that one.
Yeah, it might be going the wrong way.
We do not want to do this, ever. Well, almost ever. See, I put an asterisk up there. Sometimes, before you launch your site, you might want to grab a copy of the production database and bring it to local. Rare cases. But normally, if it's, anytime outside of the hours 9 to 6 p.m., you're probably doing something stupid from lack of sleep. Well, that would be me, at least. So Drush will let you do this. It will happily say, oh, sure, hell yeah, I'll copy that production database and stomp all over your data. I don't care. I'm here to do your bidding.
Is there a way for you to adjust the file so you can't do it?
Holy crap, you get a t-shirt. That's awesome. Large or extra large?
Extra large, please.
Then all you get is light blue. No choice. I have two larges left of red. Oh, yeah, well, red. All right, thank you. All right, yeah, so there is a way to protect ourselves with a Drush policy file. And we'll get to that later. Not too much later. Oh, yeah, we're doing well on time. All right, so we talked about databases. So now we can sync databases, which is awesome. But now we can also sync files. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, sorry.
When I hear the word sync,
Yeah.
I imagine like the caches tables now being identical and the newer, you have like sync update versus overwrite.
Right.
So what do we mean by sync?
It's,
You
well,
like merge newer changes?
No, it's
overwrite one over the
it's
other?
overwrite.
Okay.
It's overwrite. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. I never.
The same cache file, you have to back and migrate based on the cache file.
Yeah. What's an option?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's default.
Yeah, I never thought. The way I think about it when it happens is I am just taking that production database.
If you sync, that'll tell you.
I do. I do because.
Do you do it out of habit or do you have to?
I do it out of habit. I'm wondering if I have to. No, that's a good point.
I'll do it out of habit.
Yeah.
You probably should just do it out of habit anyway.
Yeah. Well, you'll see when I'll show you a slide later on where I show you my workflow, and it's right there. So we can also sync files directories. So why do we do that? Well, here's a site that I work on, and this happens to me all the time. So it looks, and this is my local copy of the site after I do a SQL sync. And I end up with lots of missing images. And it's not. Depending on what I'm doing, it's not crucial that I have all those images, but it might throw off theming. If I'm actually doing something involving images, it might, it's just going to take time, because then what happens? What do you have to do? Well, you have to click on this, you have to edit it, and you have to put some image of your cat in instead of the actual image, and, it's kind of a pain.
And those missing images are, I assume, because you've got non-relative URLs.
Well, no, what happens is someone has uploaded the file to the production database, or to the production
And it's
system.
an absolute URL instead of a relative.
Well, no, it's a relative URL on the production database, but the file only exists on production.
Yeah.
So when I copy the database down,
Okay.
the file doesn't exist locally, so I get these.
If the file is public, private, but if they're public.
If they're public, yeah. But if they're absolute URLs, then these will work fine.
This WYSIWYG is notorious.
Right, right.
I don't think that is.
But just think of it this way: if you have people adding content to production, they're adding a node, and as part of that node, they're using CCK image field, and they're uploading an image. That image is being uploaded to production. but the path and everything is being stored in the database. Well, when you take that database, that path hasn't changed. It's looking for, that image in your files directory, but the image is actually over here. So what do we want to do? We want to sync our files directory, and that was that third little bullet I talked about earlier. Well, it's just as easy as SQL sync. You do an rsync. And anyone who's used rsync before knows rsync is very smart because it only copies things that are different. It's not going to overwrite things that are identical. So, if you do this relatively frequently, it doesn't take that long.
Does it leave file permissions on?
Yes, it does. I believe it does. So you do Drush rsync, from production, and you have to tell it the directory you want to rsync. Well, remember this? That percent files? Remember that from this? So that's where it comes in now. So it's just kind of like a little placeholder variable for where the actual files directory is. And the syntax is the same. It's rsync from source to destination. So now you can sync up your files directory. So now when you go to your site, all the images that are supposed to be there are actually there. So you can actually work on it and get right to work. Yeah, so there it is again, because I'm redundant apparently.
Does Drush have any special command for like a single site install to multi-site?
I don't know. Are you a large?
Yeah.
All right, what color? What color?
I'll take the red.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no problem saying, I don't know. All right.
Well, you probably do site aliases, right?
I'm sorry?
You probably would do site aliases once on.
Yeah, I've never played with it with multi-site though. I don't. Yeah, with the site, yeah, if you're defining the path. Yeah, give me that t-shirt back. No. No, I think it's going to be taken care of by this. I think so. I mean, you're telling it where the files directly are. If you have multi-site, then this is going to be different for each of your sites.
Yeah.
You can have a different alias for each multi-site.
Yeah.
Okay. Ha! Yes.
So in this, would you then have multiple file destinations if you wanted to have a subdirectory that you use for link instead?
Yes. What you can do, and this is something I do as well. Oh, I'm sorry. She was asking me if there are subdirectories within files that if you just want to sync those because you use those more often than others. The answer is yes. You can add to this path. You can go %file/images, %file/whatever. Well, you go images to images, obviously. And I do that all the time as well because for basically what I just told you. I normally rsync the images because what else is in the files directory? Caches, backups, all kinds of stuff you don't really need. I tend to put, when I set up image fields, I make sure everything goes into file/images/ something else. So if I sync that one images directory, I know I'm good. So, are you a large? You don't like the shirt? Might be a little insulted now. You can't have one now. I don't care how good your next question is. Okay. All right. So, now what can we do? Well, now we can move stuff around wherever we want. Normally, normally, you're going downstream. We run from your live site to everywhere else. From your staging site to everywhere except live. From your shared development only to your local development. And you're almost never pushing this up. But how can we enforce that? Yes?
I don't know if I would do this, but I'm imagining, have you ever tried to wrap that with cron?
The question is if I try to wrap that with cron.
Like every day, push.
You can.
Production to
You can create a bash script that includes all of these commands and have it run on cron. I don't do it because I'm a control freak, let's be honest. And I only want it happening when I say it needs to happen. Yeah, no, I mean, it's completely scriptable. That's what, that was back on slide 2 when I talked about what is Drush. It's, it's for scripting. Yeah, okay, so normally these things go downstream. So getting back to, what's your first name? You asked me the question before about the policy files.
First name's Colleen.
Quinn?
Colleen, kind of like.
Colleen.
Colleen.
All right, gotcha. So going back to what Colleen said, how do we protect ourselves from doing stupid stuff, like overriding production databases? Well, it's actually quite easy. There's a policy file, and it's policy.drush.inc. It's going to live in the same place as your aliases file. It doesn't go by group. I don't know, maybe that's coming in a future version of Drush, I don't know, but you can only have one policy file, and it kind of governs all of your sites. It's actually, it looks a lot like a Drupal file, because it actually uses a hook. And what it does is lets you set up these validation rules, like, hey dummy, don't do that. And they're ridiculously easy. It's actually a Drush hook command validate. So you can actually validate any Drush command. So say you can validate the CC command, the cache command. Only clear the cache between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. whatever. In this case, we are going to validate only the SQL sync command. And we get source and destination. It lets us do anything we want at this point. So here's a simple one. If the destination is production, then Drush that error, and Drush that error will automatically stop whatever Drush is trying to do. And you can use more colorful language if you'd like. But it will stop. I mean, that's a lifesaver right there. And you can even, you can make this as complex as you want. You can say, if the source is production and the destination is dev, then throw that. Or if the source is something else and production is something else.
Is there an example of this in the Drush folder?
Yeah, I believe that there's the policy.drush.inc has something very close to this, but just commented out. Yeah. I will. I have like 4 or 5 more slides, and we'll have a minute or two, and I'll hop in there. I'll show you. But this is kind of the missing piece. This is kind of the wow. This is really super dangerous, but here's some safety gloves. All right, so this is how I use it every day, and I literally do this whenever, and I should, like I don't know your name. What's it? Like Joni just said, you could script all this, and I probably should, because it would be great if I could just get up, start working on a project and say update blah, and have it do a git pull, and have it do, there you go, git pull. I back up my local, I back up this, the database on here. I sync, normally I sync from the dev site. I sync the files. I clear my cache, and I run cron. And then theoretically, once you do all this, your shared dev site and your local site are going to look the same and act the same. So if someone is reporting a bug on the dev site, you know that you better be able to reproduce it now on your local site. Otherwise, something else is going on. But it'd be great, put this in a bash script or something, and run this, and man, that's awesome. All right, so a couple of advanced options. I talked about sanitize. We're actually developing a workflow right now. I have a client with about 8 different developers on it, and we're starting to get a little bit nervous because we have a bunch of users, and we're getting nervous about passing this database around with all these users with actual email addresses. So we're actually going to implement this sanitize. And I think we've actually extended it so that we have several test users in there, but we don't want to sanitize the test users because everyone knows that one of the test users is a content admin, one of them is a regular user, one of them is these different roles. And it's nice to be able to keep those users with their same passwords and not sanitize them. So we have a custom Drush function that sanitizes everybody except these 5 users. Definitely check it out. If you have any concerns about security, this is what'll take care of it. Here's another thing that I do, and this is something that has really nothing to do with Drush, but it helps a lot with this kind of workflow. I keep the develop module enabled locally on all my sites. That way, if I'm working on a custom module, I can just do a DSM and look at something. Well, On the shared dev site or production or stage or whatever, you normally don't have your devel module enabled. You know, that's just good practice. But every time you copy that database down, then you got to go back and re-enable devel on your local. Well, what you can do is in your local settings.php, you can just put this line. It's configuration variable. It just says, you know, make sure devel stays enabled, and one means yes. If you want to make sure devel is never enabled, you know, make this a 0. So not only can you do it, and there's all kinds of configuration variables you can do this to. I do it a lot with, there's another module, shoot, it might be called email redirect or something, where any email sent out by the system will automatically be emailed out to a custom address.
SMTP authenticator.
No, it's a devel type module. Because what it lets you do is, if you want to test sending an email blast to 50 people, it will send all 50 email addresses to your test address. Yeah. So normally what I do is I will enable that one as well. And there's all kinds of little configuration things you can turn out and on. It's just, again, it's just one less thing you have to do when you sync the database. All right, so Drush resources, question. Oh yeah, like develop, oh yeah. Another one I use all the time is an environment indicator. I think it's environment_indicator. And what it does on the left side of your screen, it puts a red stripe and you can put some text in there. And I have, you know, Mike's local site. And on the dev site, I have dev site. That way everybody knows, you know, where they are. So resources, obviously the Drupal.org project page. Everybody know about this, drush.ws? That's a cool little page. It lists all the Drush commands. It's basically like a FAQ for Drush. It's kind of cool. I use this one probably more than I use that one. All right, so any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering, is there an easy way to know a module's name when you're putting it in there, like DrushDL module name or module version name?
So the question is, how do you know what module name to use with DrushDL?
Highlighted.
It's the same name as what appears when you go to drupal.org/project/whatever. So if you look at the URL, like environment indicator, that's on the top of my head, you go to you search for that on drupal.org, and the URL for that, I believe, is drupal.org/project/environment_indicator, and that's what you use.
And it's going to pull what version?
It will see what version of Drupal you're using, and it will pull the recommended release for your version of Drupal. You can force it to push other versions if you want. You just do a dash, and then if you want the dev version, dash, and then I usually just cut and paste, 7.x dash 1.x dash dev or whatever it is.
There's also a switch to show which versions are available, gives you an option to choose the one you want.
Right. Yeah, there's a Drush switch for DL to show you which versions are available, but I think it gives you a little 1, 2, 3, 4, and select one. You tell me I'm short on time?
No, actually, of course.
Oh.
You had the syntax parameter earlier that's having some customization capabilities.
Yeah.
Is that, first of all, can you talk about how to customize that? And second of all, if we are customizing it, then are we kind of like overriding Drupal, or can you do that?
Yeah, no, I think what we did, I should have thought more about it before I said it. I believe what we did is we actually created a custom version of Sanitize and made up a custom Drush. Which not hard. I think we put in a custom module so that it's just available to us. I think if you find me afterwards, I'll look it up and I'll show you. We didn't have it, first of all, so just you can step off on that one. We don't do that here, okay? Any other questions? All right, so yep, that's me. Drupal Camp, South Florida. I got another T-shirt. Who's large? Anybody? There you go. I'll put the slides up. I'll be in the Coders Lounge if anyone wants to, see an example of any of this stuff or have any questions or whatever. But thank you. Have a good rest of the day.